Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Saturday, September 17, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 360 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting picks that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Kansas vs Houston. This is a game where our preseason biases can work against us, causing us to miss a good opportunity to take the underdog. Consider what we knew coming into the season. Kansas is always one of the worst teams in Division 1, and they are a lock to finish last in the Big 12. If they eclipse last year's win total of 2, the season is a success. And we knew that Houston was a top 20 team coming off a fantastic season, and they could be this year's BCS party crasher. If we pick this game based on the preseason ideas of these teams, this is an easy cover for Houston. But the season has not gone to form for either of these teams. Kansas has opened with 2 wins, including last week's 56-42 thriller on the road against West Virginia. Kansas is the top scoring team in the country in points per game. Sure, that won't last, but it might mean that we need to rethink who this team is. Meanwhile, Houston has opened with 2 tough road trips to UTS and Texas Tech, both of which went to overtime. Houston has yet to find an offensive identity, and their defense is good, but not as dominant as we expected. Houston will be glad to play in front of the home crowd for the first time all season, and they should come out inspired. Another early loss would derail their season goals, and losses to Texas Tech and Kansas are not the best way to make their transition into the Big 12 next year. Still, Kansas is better than we think they are, and second-year coach Lance Leipold is already exceeding expectations. Houston needs to win this game, and they should, but Kansas is more than capable of keeping it close. Throw out the preseason narratives and look at what we have seen from the first 2 weeks, and this game looks like a spot where Kansas can cover on the road against a quality opponent. Our team pick is Kansas plus 9 points. Kansas is just about averaging this number by themselves through the first 2 weeks, a stat that would surely surprise the average fan. So why take the under in this spot? I think there are several good reasons. First, Kansas prefers to keep the ball on the ground. Coach Leipold wants the offensive identity of this team to be in the ground game. Last week against West Virginia, the Jayhawks piled up 419 yards of offense, 200 of which was on the ground. They are triggered by a dual-threat QB in Jalen Daniels, who ran 12 times for 85 yards, actually leading the Jayhawks. Despite scoring in the 50s twice already, this is not a team that necessarily wants to be in a track meet. They will also find that Houston is a formidable defense against the run. Last week, while Houston was giving up a generous 468 yards of total offense, only 117 of that was on the ground. Part of that was the Texas Tech air raid offensive style, but part of that is Houston's tough front 7. Second, Houston has yet to find an offensive identity. Managing only 354 yards of total offense last week against a suspect Red Raider defense, and less than 100 of that on the ground, Houston often looked lost with the ball. Their offensive line has struggled to create running lanes, and they have allowed 6 sacks already. The Jayhawks are not a good defense either, yielding over 500 yards to the Mountaineers. The Houston priority this week is to find some offensive identity that they have yet to demonstrate. Houston has struggled to score, and Kansas prefers to play the game on the ground and limit possessions, putting less pressure on a susceptible defense. Sure, Kansas might keep scoring at a record pace for them, but that is unlikely against this Cougar defense. And sure, Houston might figure it out this week against a bad defense, but we have seen no evidence of that so far. To me, all signs point to a game played in the 20s. Our total pick is under 57 points. Liberty vs Wake Forest. The Liberty Flames traveled to North Carolina to take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons Saturday night. It will be a big weekend for Wake Forest because it will be homecoming week. The Demon Deacons had their leader of the offense return to the team last week. Junior quarterback Sam Hartman ignited the offense against SEC opponent Vanderbilt, having a flawless game, throwing for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns that led to a dominant 45-25 victory on the road. Liberty will be coming into a hostile environment this week in North Carolina. The Flames have been impressive of late, going 2-0 to start the season. The highlight so far was the victory over preseason Conference USA's favorite UAB. My concern with Liberty is that they have played 3 different quarterbacks this season. The uncertainty in this position is alarming to me against a veteran team in Wake Forest. Caden Salter, the freshman quarterback, has been the most impressive at the position. I'm not sure if Hugh Freeze can trust a freshman quarterback to start. Top offensive weapons running back Day Hunter and wideout Demario Douglas might not be the answer against this Demon Deacons defense. Last week, Wake Forest controlled the Vanderbilt offense in a very convincing win. This isn't an ideal situation for the Flames on Saturday, and they haven't proved to be a profitable road team. Liberty is 0-4 at TS in their last 4 road games, and Wake Forest has cashed in for bettors going 4-0 in their last 4 non-conference games. I will take the Demon Deacons to cover the spread during homecoming weekend. There won't be any slowing down this week during homecoming. The offensive firepower should be on display and headlined by Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman. Hartman didn't lose a beat last week, throwing for 4 touchdowns, highlighted by the convincing performance of wide receiver A.T. Perry. The Liberty Flame defense hasn't seen a quarterback or offense close to Wake Forest this year. Last week, the Flames gave up over 5 yards a carry on the ground against UAB. Wake Forest running back Christian Turner should produce a solid rushing performance, leading the team in rushing touchdowns this year, averaging 6 yards a carry. The mobility of Liberty freshman quarterback Demario Douglas will be a very interesting factor in this game. His rushing and elusiveness could lead to scoring opportunities against the Demon Deacons defense. This can be a double-edged sword because it will lead to turnovers and unanswered points for Wake Forest. Both teams can get enough points to surpass the total. Wake Forest wants to put on an offensive show for the alumni this weekend with their veteran offense. Liberty will likely score a lot with their 56% touchdown scoring rate in the red zone. I will lean over the total. Our total pick is over 63.5 points. Mississippi State vs LSU. The Mississippi State Bulldogs will get their first test of the season as they travel to Death Valley to take on the LSU Tigers. Mississippi State has been impressive so far, starting the season 2-0 in a dominant fashion. The Bulldogs have easily covered the spread in both games, and the average margin of victory has been 24 points. The main reason for the success has been because of the air raid offense of Mike Leach. Junior quarterback Will Rogers has thrived under his system, throwing for 763 yards and 9 touchdowns. The run game has also been complementary to the passing game, with Jaquavius Marks averaging 4.5 rushing yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. Everything has been clicking for the Bulldogs to start the season. Will this dominance continue at LSU? The Tigers have had a different path to start their season. They opened the season against Florida State in heartbreaking fashion as they got their pat block to tie the game as time expired. The LSU offense started slow in that game, but their defense was keeping the Tigers in the game. LSU will need to figure out a way to slow down this Bulldog offense Saturday night, and it starts with having one of the most difficult home field advantages in college football. LSU came into this season with high expectations, with a dominant defensive line and solid secondary. They haven't reached their potential yet, and this could be the game where they shine. Transfer quarterback Jaden Daniels has had a couple of games under his belt to get comfortable in the Tiger offense. He should see more positive progression this week. This spread seems to be easy to take Mississippi State based on its dominant start. I believe this will be a tough test for a motivated LSU Tiger team that needs a win. Mississippi State hasn't fared well in consecutive road games, being a favorite. The Bulldogs, as a 2-point favorite or better, are 1-11 at TS in the last leg of their back-to-back road games. I will take the Tigers to cover the spread at home. LSU plus 2.5 points. This Mississippi offense has been unstoppable, but it won't come easy to the Bulldogs this Saturday as they travel to play on the road against LSU. The previous defenses they have played were well below the talent level LSU has on defense. I will lean the under in hard-fought SEC matchup in Death Valley. Our total pick is UNDER 53.5 points.